Drowning in Bali. Well, almost. Before we go into more footage of that horrible day where I was hanging on for my life in the waters in Bali, I want to say something that is important for you to understand so that you can connect with some of the vlogs that will come up in the future on this similar topic. First thing is, I didn't know how I wanted to put this vlog together from the random footage that is there of that troublesome day. So you could say that my mind has been like swinging between I should make this vlog and show my weakness to everybody, or maybe I should not. I should just dump the footage and not make this vlog. Which is why the Bali series has been stuck where it is right now. But you know what? Fuck it. Let's just do it. So here it goes. Revealing my fear to you all. I'm afraid of drowning. That's right. I have aquaphobia. You might think it is normal, you might find it hilarious, especially if you know how to swim. But I kid you not, I am shit scared of water like this. Not the shower water, like this. Shit scared. It is not at normal levels at all. I've been scared of it ever since I drowned as a kid. I was maybe 6 or 8 years old in my village in a small pond where I was just standing at the banks of it and everybody was swimming, the elder kids were swimming and all, and I slipped and I suddenly went inside and somebody saved me. Somebody pulled me out. Thankfully they saw me. If not, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here as Heartbroken Biker also. But I kind of don't remember all the details of that incident because I only remember standing. I remember something dark, and that's it. It's people that tell me, people who saved me in my village, they told me that this is how it happened when I returned to the village after a couple of years. And I kind of immediately mapped it with the fear that I had. It kind of explained why I had fear of going towards a lake or going towards a pond. Every time I approach a water body like a lake like this or a pond or a sea, my heart rate goes up. I would even sweat. Even while fishing when I was a kid, I would stand really far from the bank and cast from like really far, and people used to laugh at it. They're like, what is this? As in, I want the fish, but I wouldn't get close to the lake or the pond, and everybody used to find it very funny. So after years of being confused at what it is, I finally discovered that there is another fear that stems from the same experience, and that is the fear of water bodies. Like, if the water body is dark, if I cannot see the bottom, if I cannot see that it is clear, I get scared way more. This is called thalassophobia. If it's clear, I am a little less scared. But if it is dark, if I cannot see, which is how majority of the water bodies have been wherever I travel, it's scary. So yeah, that's called thalassophobia, which is being afraid of water bodies, sea, pond, lake, whatever, and aquaphobia, which is being afraid of drowning. Thalassophobia can happen just by standing close to it. You don't even have to be inside water. These are two very shitty phobias, I would say, for somebody who wants to travel the world, because this earth is made out of so much water, so many beautiful places with lakes at mountains, waterfalls. Okay, now some of you may ask, but HBV, we have seen so many pictures of you near the lakes. We have seen so many Instagram stories of you standing near the lake. We have actually seen you swim in the first few episodes of this Bali series itself. What then? How are you afraid of water? The answer is, I've been afraid in all those places. I'm just not showing it. And the swimming pool that you saw right in the starting of this episode, you can just stand in there. You will not drown. But to get to that point, it took me so much time. I wouldn't even go inside a swimming pool. So this is how I did it. So during my teens, I developed another quality, which is that if I'm afraid of something, if something causes fear, I try to overcome it. I don't like getting controlled by fear. I try to make efforts to overcome it. For example, I was pretty afraid of dark when I was a kid. Everybody is, a lot of people are. I was so shit afraid that if there was power cut at home, I wouldn't want to be alone. I want somebody to be holding my hand. If I wouldn't go to pee, if there's a, in the dark, even if there is light in the dark, I just wouldn't. My parent had to take me. So from that level, today I go on motorcycle trips solo, not just in India and other countries too, solo, without knowing the actual place where I'm going. Like seriously, can you imagine that I don't see a person, I don't see a light, I don't see, and I still keep going? What the fuck? So many times in forests and jungles, pitch dark, I arrive late. I almost many times ride into the dark before I decide to pitch my tent. And pitching tent in like wilderness where there is literally nobody. I've been lost in leopard jungles, I've been in puma areas, I've been in bear country. National forests, dark, pitch dark. Pretty much that there's nobody around you in maybe 50 kilometers radius. Shit. So my maps just came in. Oh fuck. It looks like I've been going the wrong way. Do you see how pitch dark it is? But of course, it's not something to brag. It is, I would say, I've been lucky that despite that, I've made so many mistakes. Like in the wild territories, I've made so many mistakes trying to learn how to wilderness camp by myself. I would say you shouldn't do that because a few people, get taken out by wild animals on their first mistake. The point I'm trying to make is now I can travel in dark alone. I'm little bit afraid, but I can overcome that. I'm able to find that balance point, and this took me a couple of years. Bit by bit, I ventured into dark. It took me a couple of years to tell you I can just be safely traveling hotel to hotel, but it took me a couple of years. I wanted to make an effort towards it, and the result is thankfully I'm able to find that balance point where I'm still a bit afraid, but I can still do it. I can continue with my travel. Similarly, there are other things like spiders and as a really small kid I've been afraid of that, but then I got over that fear very fast to a point where I used to have spiders as pet. Now if anybody from my school is probably watching this video, they know who I am behind the mask. A kid in 5th grade, 6th grade having spiders as pet in India, not very common back then. I'll probably go into that in more detail later in some other video, but my point is similar where I struggle to get over my fear of water. I shouldn't say water, I'm like get over my fear of drowning and water bodies. It's very different from fear of water. People who are afraid of water, there are some phobias where you're afraid of a bathtub of water. That's not what this is. I don't want you to get confused with this. So I tried to get rid of this phobia for about 15 years. I made 3 main different phases of efforts, you can say, but this has been the longest standing phobia of my life. I still have it. The first time I made this effort was when I was in 10th grade, which was a couple of years after that drowning incident, and I had a friend called Rohit, and me and him used to, only because he came with me to the swimming pool, else I wouldn't have, we used to cycle like 7 kilometers one way, so 14 kilometers every day, 7 kilometers one way, swim in the government swimming pool. We still have to pay money, about $200 or $150 on student card, I remember, and cycle 7 kilometers back. Imagine that, cycling 7 kilometers, swimming, then again coming back 7 kilometers back. But it's not like I learned completely how to swim at that point. The only thing I was able to manage in those summer holidays, in those few months of going to that swimming pool, is to get enough courage to just stand in 4 feet of water, because I was like 4.5 or 4.8 feet at that time. still growing. Well, I didn't grow much, but just to have the courage to stand in 4 feet of water because I know I wouldn't like drown, and just to maybe have courage of going dipping your head inside for 2 to 3 seconds, that took me a couple of months over there. While Rohit was able to easily swim, I would just spend my time in the kids section, 4 feet, stand there, paddle a bit, you know, take the aim for the width of the pool, paddle a bit, and that's how much I learned. And that is a very big step for me. That was really a very big step for me. It may look like a silly thing, but it was a very big step for me because there was a swimming coach. I asked him whether he can teach me, and he said, sure, 200 bucks. And I was like, I'm not paying 200 bucks, you know, back then. It's not like my parents were paying for this. We had tough times back then. I had to uh, teach kids tuition, you know, take tuition. That they used to pay me like 50 rupees per kid. So I put that money into swimming, getting an entry into the swimming pool. So I'm no way paying somebody 200 bucks to throw me into the pool, because I saw the coach, you know, he was throwing small kids into the 6 feet and screaming at them, swim for your life, swim for. I'm like, fuck it. I'm not paying somebody to throw me and kill me. No freaking way. So then 3 to 4 years later, you know, I got employed, and there was this company I used to work for called Satyam. They had a really nice swimming pool. So after full week of crazy work, crazy amount of workload as a intern, I used to go and spend time in the swimming pool. Remember, this was the time there was no YouTube, so you couldn't like just go and look up for how to swim lessons and all. So I had to really ask people how to swim and how to survive and be alone in the pool and actually practice that. But even then, I managed to do a little bit more of paddling. So I would just aim for the width of the pool from 4 feet again, just be able to paddle a bit, go till the center, stop, put my legs down. If you don't know how this feels, you actually panic in water. Like you try to swim or you try to paddle, and then you look, you see that there is so much more to go, and you start panicking. You're like, you can't do it, you can't do it. Then that panic causes you to like swallow water and all that. So you want to just stand there. So this is what I somehow learned, to paddle a bit, spend more time in the water. That's something that I learned there. But I didn't work for that company for very long, so I quit. And then the other companies that I worked for didn't have like a swimming pool. Or so even at this point, the second attempt of learning to swim, I still wouldn't go into 6 feet side of the pool. I still would be at the 4 feet side, the shallow side, the kids side, what you call it. And if there are any kids on the weekend, sometimes these folks would bring their families for outing. And if they're kids, they'll be like, what is this Bayard doing on our side of the pool? And it used to be embarrassing. So then career happened. I completely forgot about it for a couple of years, until few years ago, like say 8 years ago, when I started the first channel, the main channel. Oh wait, this is the first channel I'm making video on this. Now I'm getting confused which channel I'm making the video on. So when I started this channel, I started traveling on my motorcycle, going to these beautiful places. All of these beautiful places would have a waterfall, would have a lake with the mountains, and I wasn't able to completely enjoy that. I got over a little fear, so I would dip my legs, be on the edge of it, but I really wanted to enjoy swimming, or you know, actually being in the water. And so I told myself, this is shit, this is gotta go, so I have to work on it again. So in 2016, I had a friend called Karthik. We used to live close by, and we found a pool near our house, and we paid for a monthly fee and got into that swimming pool. You know, because Karthik knew how to swim, I was observing him and trying to learn how to actually do that, not just paddle. But in the beginning, like 1 month, I still spent time in the 4 feet side of the pool. And this time when the kids saw it, it was like super weird. It is no longer like, what is this weird bhaiya doing here? It was more like, what is this weird uncle doing here? So yeah, age had caught up, I would say, and I still didn't know how to swim. But I spent like 1 month first trying to practice what I already knew, was paddling and all. But then finally I got, you know, Karthik showed me something else, which was like I could tilt my head while paddling, and I could use, like, started using my arms. All this while I was just holding it like this and just paddle my foot and try to get across how much ever I can. Aim for the width always, because you know length is like impossible for me. Aim for the width and make sure that you're in 4 feet because you can stand. But this time I started using strokes from, you know, the hand strokes, and I discovered something. You know, I got taught that I could tilt my head and take a gasp of breath. That was like a eureka moment for me. That was like, what? I can go 2 feet more, I can go 3 feet more, and so on. So in the end, by 3 months, somehow I swam for the first time in my life. I swam from one side to other, the length of the pool. Of course, I was still at the edge. I was not going in the center of the pool, but I was still at the edge, so that if panic happens, because it did a couple of times, where I would just look into the water and I was like, oh shit, this is, I cannot do it. So I just grab hold of the swimming pool bars immediately and just stand up. But somehow I did manage to swim the length of the pool. I did manage to float on my back, which was crazy, you know. It was absolutely something else for me. It may be very simple for a lot of you guys who know how to swim, but for me it is crazy, you know. It has brought me new joy because now I can go to lakes and rivers and all. I go a little bit more deeper. I stand until my knee length and I don't feel so much fear. I've done that earlier also, before 2016 also, but with friends, and we were like standing in just this much water, and I could just paddle, but I wouldn't go in deep water. But now I could do a little deeper, but make sure it is still not, you know, and I can still see it. But that's a big progress for me, and that has allowed me to enjoy the water bodies a little more, which brings us to this vlog. So what you see in the first few episodes of me swimming, that was practice. The Bali villas have 5 feet flat pool, or even 4 feet some of the times, and I'm trying to practice swimming because this trip I wanted to jump into the sea. Is it sea or ocean? Jump into the ocean, because I heard that Bali had some nice snorkeling spots, so you could see the depth. That is a little better for me. So I wanted to jump in, conquer the fear, and I thought, this is it. I'll jump into the ocean, I'll conquer the fear, it'll be over. Little did I know that things are going to go worse, and I'm going to get a reflection of how deep rooted my fear is. So that day we woke up pretty early in the morning because we wanted to go see the dolphin watching. This is something that was not in our plan, but if you remember the guy who was there at the fuel station, I'll probably tell you about all that in another video. But I want to say is we got pulled into this activity. We didn't have it in plan, and I would say you should not plan it too. Bali dolphin watching, do not do it. Just trust me on this, do not do it. Alright, let's just hope that after that dolphin show, whatever it was, which was I'm hoping I put out another video about that. I'm here to experience some sea. Let's see what experience I get here. We went to a snorkeling spot in this fisherman's boat. Or the motor not working? Yeah, I think it's not, the directional controls are not working in the motor. I'm scared of sea already, and now this is. Sure you wanna jump? Am I sure I wanna jump? Yeah, I'll think about it when I go there. So we are heading off snorkeling. I was getting nervous already because, you know, my first time in the ocean, you could say. And I was given this life jacket, I was given this snorkeling mask, and we told him that, you know, I know a little bit only to swim. So he said, oh, there's no problem, you know, the guy in the boat, guy who takes you to do snorkeling. They said, oh, no problem, you can go and all that, you know, I will come if anything problem, I'll come, I'll save you. And he was also asking her to jump down in there. At least I have some experience in water. She doesn't have any experience in water. I don't know how her fear of water is, or her fear of swimming is. But let's just say she doesn't know what swimming is all about. Absolutely not. He was asking her to also jump in, which was glad that she did not do, because this is what happened. Okay, trial word of me. This is first time, so life jacket.
Good luck, come back. Yeah, let's hope I come back.
So I jumped in, and there's fishes in there, there's corals in there. I jumped in, I tried to get away from the boat a little bit. And the first thing that happened to me, the huge difference between swimming pool and sea, or swimming pool and ocean, water leaked into my mask. And I had my first taste of super salty ocean water. It jets in through your nose immediately, and that's where the first panic set in. And I was immediately like, holy shit, this is not gonna happen. So the boat has like balancers, and I immediately held on to the balancer. I did not give up. Multiple times water was going into my mask. I was trying to take it out,
Don't take that out of your mouth.
spit out the water, empty the mask, wear it back again, try to dip my head back again. I really wanted to do this. I really wanted it to end, not my life. I wanted the fear to end. The mask was pretty dirty, right? The snorkeling mask. It's actually pretty dirty. It's not like standards of like West countries, but okay, I guess. So I was trying that, and slowly something else was happening. I was losing balance. Like I couldn't just position myself to like a snorkeling paddling position, which was so easy in the swimming pool. I couldn't do that here, and I didn't realize what the issue was later until I saw the footage. Came home and saw the footage. And I was like, what is this? Is this fear? Is this what's happening? I tried multiple times, and finally I gave up. I was like, okay, this is not happening. I'm not even able to swim. I'm not able to turn my body downside, or try to float or anything. There was no waves. I was just being thrown around like this for some reason without being able to find a balance point. Yeah, that's something. Jacket was not good. That's something we figured out after I saw the footage, right? But at that point, I'm just trying to explain at that point what I was feeling. And so I held on to the balancer. Even while holding on to the balancer, my body was really tilting up, or just toppling over.
Wanna come back?
This is it. I'm drowning. This is it. I cannot do it. I cannot swim back to the boat, despite I was very close.
I want to come.
Come back. Should I ask him help?
And I am trying to speak. I'm trying to say, I need to get back to the boat. Help me. And words were not coming out of my mouth properly due to panic. And she was there in the boat. She was filming the fishes. When you look at that angle where I'm holding on to the balancer, and it's like a cool shot. It's like she was probably thinking, what were you thinking? You're probably thinking I'm enjoying. Yeah, she was, because this social media cool shot, right? You're looking into the horizon, in the water, infinite pool. No fucking way. Like I was panicking. I was holding on for my life on that balancer, and I really wanted to get back. There's water in my throat. There's like saltiness, and my head spinning at that point. And after maybe like 10 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes, then you realized that something is wrong. And then she asked the boat guy to help him, because she doesn't know how to swim.
Come back. Need help.
She's like, please help him. And that guy's like, he did nothing. He did absolutely nothing. He is like, okay, come back. Instructions? Really? You think I don't know? I want to come back?
I'm in the boat.
Yeah, he want to come back to the boat.
He's like, okay, come back, come back. He did nothing. And for the next 10-15 minutes, it took me somehow, I'm like, I understood this guy is not going to come. And just imagine, he was telling her to jump in. So if you didn't know how to swim, or if you have a fear like me, do not just go snorkeling here. Because what they said, or maybe it's just that one boat guy, they'll say that, oh, I'll jump in and save you. No, it didn't happen. Maybe it's just that boat guy, but
No, can you go and take him? Because life jacket is also coming up. Please.
That didn't happen, and I finally understood that, and I'm like, I have to get out of water. And somehow I turned back, and I used that. The first thing that I learned, just close my eyes and paddle towards the boat. I just did that and somehow reached the boat. He was giving me one of the boat's oar to catch and come out.
No, that is loose. Oh, no. He is holding on to that.
I pulled myself out, there's the stairs, and I hit the stairs somewhere, and I was out, and my head was spinning so much. I was feeling so much nausea that I vomited. I vomited, and I didn't want to stay in water one bit. I just didn't want. I just said, let's go back. So I know that in vlogging world, somehow, I don't know how, that when you're in trouble and we have so much to take care, I still don't know how people manage to take out the vlog camera and say, oh guys, I'm in trouble, I am drowning. I was not able to do that, sorry.
The water is so salt.
So sorry.
So we don't have much footage. We just rushed back. It was real emergency for me. We just rushed back. I was feeling very, very nauseous, super sick. We came back. We asked for extension in the room because we were to check out that afternoon. We asked for extension for a couple of hours, and I just slept through. And that's it. That's when I came back home and I looked at the footage. That's where I realized. That is when I realized that not to blame that thing, but because I think it was also partly my fear. It was the what do you call that? The life jacket is the tie down is not latches. It's made out of threads. So that thing, because I'm an amazing body shape, I'm not like a six-pack guy, nice. I got a fat tummy and all that. So that thing was sliding up. So in the water, the point at which I lost balance, that was the point when the life jacket was up here. So it was not letting me swim down like this. It was not letting me float back like this. It was doing something to my whole equilibrium that I was not able to do anything. So if you don't know how to swim and you want to do something like a jump in the sea and water, and you better know that your equipment, your life-saving equipment is right. And I think that was wrong over there. And that's not the only thing to blame, I'm saying. It's partly because I'm so bad at this. It's been like a huge setback for me. Even now when I go fishing, when I go, traveling in the United States here, I try to be in the water, when there's nobody around. In a lot of these wilderness places, there's nobody around. The whole lake and you, something happens, you just, people have to search for your body. And hopefully that doesn't happen to me, hopefully. But I would like to slowly progress and get over this fear. But it has been a big setback this day. And it has been one of the most traumatic days for a very long time. The worst day of the trip in Bali, right? The worst day of the trip, including dolphin watch, which I'll talk about in a different video. But I guess this video has been very long. So if you see me in the future vlogs near water bodies, know that I'm still afraid. I'm still trying to get over that fear, and hopefully someday I want to reach a point where I should have the balls to jump off a cliff into a sea or this thing and swim and come back. I don't know if that will happen, but that is a long way to go. First I have to even have the balls to swim in place like this, which is why I chose this area to make this vlog. We've been scouting for this place to be calm for multiple days, and it's almost going to be dark. Reminds me, there are people who swim in the dark in the lakes at night go out for a night swim. I don't know how they do it. Everybody's got a, over here a lot of people have boats and all. They really enjoy this water sport. There are kids who jump. You remember SLU? We used to stay in SLU in downtown Seattle, and the water used to be pretty dark over there at the docks. I didn't want to jump. But there are kids who are jumping. Kids who literally like somersault, go jump in there, and I'm like, fuck man, I cannot do anything of this. So let's hope that I'm able to someday. And that concludes this vlog. I'm so relieved that I finished this vlog because I really wanted to finish the Bali episode and I was stuck here. So thank you for watching. If you have any inputs, if you know how to swim, let me know in the comments below. And you will see in the future vlogs I make more attempts to get over my fear. This is Heartbroken Biker signing off. Sayonara. Should I tell them about my fishing trip yet, or maybe I'll put that in a different vlog?